Welcome to the MFR Coaches Podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hammell. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MFR Coaches Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about working for other people. This is an especially important episode to listen to if you are a new therapist and someone is making an offer to hire you in their practice. And I don't care who it is making the offer to you, there are some red flags that I think you should be aware of, especially because you're new, especially because you are going to feel so excited to be seen, so excited to be acknowledged, so excited to be picked or chosen, or whatever the feeling is that you are having in your body right at this moment as someone is making a job offer for you. And it can feel like an absolute dream. And I want to make sure that that dream does not turn into a nightmare for you pretty quickly on. So let's talk about this. So you're a new therapist and you're about to take that position with XYZ company MFR therapy practice. Congratulations. Now let's talk about all the things you should know before you sign that contract. You know, I want the best for you, and I want you to know what to look out before you do this, because I know that you're honored. I know that you're so excited to take on this position. You're probably pinching yourself with excitement and joy and just astonishment that you, with only a few seminars, can be asked to do this. And yes, it's so exciting, especially when you're new, especially to be recognized and especially to be chosen. But I want you to know that you have rights, even as a new therapist, just as a human in general that's going to be working for someone else. And you can negotiate anything. And if they don't want to negotiate, that's your first red flag. Your wage, your hours, your duties, the non-compete, all of these things are negotiable. So here's some questions I have for you. What training do they provide and pay for? What is their onboarding like? Do you get paid for onboarding? Do you get paid for training? Because side note, you should be paid for any required training that they need you to have to complete the job that they're hiring you for. If you are asked to complete a certain amount of hands-on training, they should be paying you to do that. What are the expectations when you are at work? What are your exact laid out job duties in a job description? Are you also required to answer the phones in between seeing patients? Are you required to sell MFR and have sales conversations? Are you required to do laundry? What are the hours you're required to work? Are you required to work on weekends? Are you required to be on call? All of that should be laid out in the contract. And what about time off? What does your paid time off look like? What does taking time off in general look like? Are you going to be allowed to go to your kids' soccer games, or is that going to be a no? And what are the other benefits? Do they pay for continuing education? And are there any strings attached? You want to know that for sure. Is there a non-compete? And does this non-compete make sense to you? If you sign it now, is it going to make sense that you sign that 1 year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, if you ever hope to have your own business living in this area? A lot of business owners want to sign a non-compete, and I think it comes from desperation and scarcity, because truly there are enough bodies for everyone to be seeing people. And if we want to make MFR mainstream, we don't want to prevent someone else from seeing patients, even if they've worked for us before. Because like I said, if you're not coming at this from scarcity, you truly do believe that there are enough bodies for everybody, for every business. So make sure that that non-compete makes sense for you, for who you will be a year from now, 5 years from now. If you aren't allowed to ever open a practice or you're never allowed to see any patients that have ever possibly been seen in that clinic, that may really put a kink in things for you later on when you go to open your practice. And you don't want to set yourself up to be at a disadvantage or create an environment that's going to be really difficult for you or detour you from your hopes and dreams in the near future. So that's a red flag. What's the culture like in this business? How do the other people working there seem to you? Are they all like healthy and glowy and well rested and well nourished and healthy? Or do they look like they've been ran ragged? Do they look like they never have a day off? Do they get treatment? Does the company provide treatment and encourage treatment? Or is there an atmosphere of overwork and grind and hustle? Because you don't want to set yourself up to be a part of the problem, right? And one of the major problems in our industry right now is therapists not making enough money to pay for their own treatment. So they are reliant on study groups for treatment. They're reliant on seminars for treatment. They're reliant on trading for treatment. And there's a lot to be said about being able to afford to pay for treatment or having treatment provided for you as a perk for working in a business. So what is that culture like? What do the other employees look like? Do you want to be a reflection of what they look like when you're done working there a year from now, or 6 years from now, or 20 years from now? Do you want to become how they are? Like, are they the epitome of who you strive to be? And I think the other thing is like, are they happy? And do they look like they have a life outside of work? Okay. Are you required to stay for a minimum number of years? And if you were to leave before that minimum number of years, what are the consequences? Do you owe them something back? I feel like that's a red flag. If the company cannot afford to pay for your training, the training that they require you to have, that's just a red flag about the business. Why can't they afford it? And why do you have to become indentured to them for a certain amount of time? This is a risk the business takes on when they hire you, that you could leave. And this is why we live in America, so we can have freedom and not become indentured servants. So make sure you're not signing a contract to become an indentured servant or set yourself up to be dependent on them or to have to work for them for a certain amount of time because you can't make enough money there to afford to pay back for the education that they paid for you. So I would like to see these benefits be a benefit. If they require you to have a certain amount of seminars, they should pay for you to go to those seminars, or that could be negotiated. I'm not telling another business what they have to do. I'm just saying, what if they did? And if this is a little red flaggy for you, it's something to think about, right? You don't want to be stuck somewhere and owe somebody something back that really should have been provided for you in the first place because it's a requirement. Or better yet, you go pay for your own training, have it, and then negotiate a higher salary because you paid for that training. And then you don't owe anyone back. And then you're going to be making more money. Win-win. It's really vital that you slow down and really understand what you are fully signing up for. Because once you're into this contract, you're into the contract, and it's much harder to negotiate a raise, your pay, your time off, your benefits, all of those things. So I say, let's negotiate it up front. Let's get a pressure check of how people respond and behave when you ask questions. And at any point in the process, if you feel uncomfortable or if you are not treated well, that's another red flag. And it's okay for you to walk away. And I don't care who's offering you the position. You are the one with the power. You are the one with the questions, and you are the one basically that they want. So make sure you get what you want in order to give them what they want. So other questions to ask for are, do they have enough volume to keep your schedule full? What is the pay promise if they can't fill your schedule? Like, what is the guarantee or expectation you should have? And again, it's super exciting and can seem like a dream, but I encourage you to read the fine print, go over the facts, and test them against your values and your goals to ensure that you aren't just delaying your own business or putting yourself at a real disadvantage for what is possible for yourself. You should be getting paid more than $20 or $30 an hour. You shouldn't be asked to pay for required training. There are more than enough people that need MFR. A non-compete really isn't necessary either. In some states, these are now outlawed, and for good reason. You should always be paid for your time, while you're being onboarded and trained on site. There should be a formal process for this. And again, if there's not, this is a red flag. If there's weird rules about this, again, this is a red flag. And I don't care how cool the position is or how badly you want to be recognized, you are setting yourself up to be miserable. Now, there are so many opportunities for you to get trained, have training, and create your own practice. But if you really want to work for someone else, this is the heavy lifting that you need to do to ensure that the position that you are taking on is going to work out for you long term. And there's no hidden things in here. There's no goblins in the closet that are going to come out and get you. So make sure you're asking these questions, take the time and be willing to be uncomfortable asking them. It's not going to feel comfortable for someone who you admire to give you a contract and for you to be like, hey, there's these things in the contract that I just can't sign. So they either need to be removed or they need to be reworded like this. This is what I'm willing to give you. And be transparent. If you're planning to open your own business, say, I'm going to open my business. Like, I will give you 1 year of my life working for you. But after that, I'm opening up my own practice and I will not have a non-compete. So you need to remove this because I'm not going to give you a year of my life and then set myself back 3 to 5 years working out this non-compete and having to work at Starbucks, right? That's just a no. You've spent way too much on your training, even if you've only had 1 or 2 seminars at this point. You've spent way too much on your degree. You've spent way too much time already to delay anything that you want. So make sure you're always keeping your options open. Make sure you know exactly what you're agreeing to in the fine print. And make sure that you know that you don't owe anyone anything. And they would be so lucky to have you. And you can be paid what is the physical worth of someone clocking in and seeing patients for them, right? If a business can only afford to pay you $20, $30 an hour when they're charging hundreds of dollars an hour, that's a red flag. Why is the overhead so high? And what is the health of their business? You want to know this because if you're going to give them time and then just not have anyone to see, or worse, you have to see 7 or 8 patients a day in order to make money, that's going to be really exhausting when you could be charging what they charge and see 3 or 4 patients a day and not have all these stipulations and things going on, all this other stress. So just slow yourself down, really think cleanly and clearly through the process and ask these questions. It's so easy to be vulnerable and new and rush through a process and just think that, oh, this person will just take care of me, because they won't. They're going to take care of their business. So make sure you're taking care of you, especially before you agree to build somebody else's dream or to be a part of somebody else's organization. Make sure no matter what, that the values match up for you, because it will matter. It will matter long term. All right, that's my soapbox. Congratulations if you're taking on a position somewhere. Make sure it works for you. You are in the power position, regardless of what you think right now, you are. And I hope that this episode will help to let you know that you are in the power position and you should be treated really, really well. All right. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week on another episode of the MFR Coaches Podcast. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the MFR Coaches Podcast. If you're ready to grow your myofascial release practice, make sure to sign up for my next free training. These live webinars are designed to help you take real steps towards building a fully booked, profitable business. You can save your seat and find the latest dates at themfrcoach.com/webinar. And if you're looking for more support, the Foundations program is now open year-round. Inside, you'll get coaching, tools, and community to help you get fully booked and stay that way without burning out. One last thing before you go. My brand new book, Your MFR Practice Starts Here, is now available. It's a must-read for any MFR therapist who wants to build a business that actually works. You can grab your copy on Amazon and get your companion guide by going to themfrcoach.com/book. Start implementing right away. I'll see you in the next episode.